of participation of all viewers in India on television shows in the online space. We have a website which allows people to discover television shows. We recommend television shows so then they can come, check in, comment on it, participate, interact with brands and broadcasters over the web and over a mobile application, which we are also looking at deploying over smart TVs. So our analytics product itself, as I mentioned, is it's a subscription-based model. It's hosted. What it does is it takes all the different social media signals that are there out there in the wild, and then we take all that, make sense of it, and aggregate it and correlate it to what you're seeing with the traditional metric like TRP. We aggregate across multiple social data sources, so things like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google+, and a couple of the example metrics in terms of who are your top fans, what are they talking about, how many are unique contributors, how many are comments, how much of the social activity is actually driven off your brand, how much of it is driven off people who are looking at your programs, what are the active time periods, where are they coming from. So very interestingly, a lot of the information we get is not from tier 1 cities, it's from tier 2, tier 3 cities. There's a lot of activity in this area happening even all across India. A lot of viewers who are not in India but outside India are commenting about very local Hindi and Marathi TV shows. And general viewer sentiment and trend analysis, and we work closely with our customers in terms of what question would you like our analytics to answer for you, and based on that we tweak it for them to make sure that they get the metrics that are right for their business. Two things out of this: one is from the ad from the ad revenue perspective, we help monetize that. We help channels to make more money based on maybe selling more ads on shows which are actually not showing up on TRP but show up on our online analytics. On the other side, for brands, we help them make sure that there is enough return on investment on the ad revenue. So if they're spending behind something, what are you spending behind? Is it the right aspirational value that you're associated with in terms of what your brand is? So these are the two sides of the equation that we help maximize ad revenue and spend from. In terms of the competitive landscape, it's a little more evolved market outside. India is not that evolved in this space. So there are players like Trender TV and Bluefin Labs who do social TV analytics, mostly focused on US and Europe. We are India-based. We do social network check-ins and social analytics. We have a couple of companies in the US, GetGlue and Miso, who are pretty famous from the social TV check-in second screen perspective. Then there's a leading EPG company in India, which is What's on India. There's a recently funded company, iDabba, which is in beta right now, but they're really into social TV check-ins again, modeled on GetGlue and Miso. And YouTube is in India in a big way, working with broadcasters to get their content, the content that they broadcast on television online as soon as possible and driving views on that. And that's a growing market that we see, but they of course provide analytics very specific to the YouTube views. So we make sure that we integrate analytics across all these different sources. Right now we've self-funded this to the tune of 15 lakhs over the last 1 year. We're looking at angel round primarily for expanding product development. We already have our pilot customer, so it's really to expand the customer base in terms of brands and television networks. And in addition, we're looking at setting an employee stock options pool of 10%. So that's in a nutshell the funding requirement that we're looking for. I thought I'll take you through our journey a little bit. We founded in March 2011. We launched our consumer-facing website in March this year, and we were selected for the nurture program 6 months back. It's been an interesting journey over the last 6 months that our teams will share with you. Our first product we developed and deployed it around September. We worked with Disney UTV to set up a pilot project with them and work with them on this to basically look at what questions our social analytics dashboard could answer for them and what internal data from a television network we could leverage to show on an integrated dashboard. So there's a lot of data that's generated inside a television network, right? There is data that comes from sources like TAM, TRP, ADX. There's also internal feedback that's available through, say, things like websites. There's SMS data. There's phone data for various programs. There is all the market research that's going on a particular program in terms of the what plot should we have, what target market should we get. So we're working with them on this project. In terms of future milestones, we're looking at closing our angel round, deploying our solution with the Disney UTV, and then really growing and taking it to the next round of institutional investors in the second half of next year. So we are Pune-based, India-focused. Our background is an embedded mobile enterprise where technology technology-based founding team. We're looking at hiring head of sales and marketing who's based out of Mumbai, but from the entertainment and media space. And on our advisory board, we have Krish, who's the CEO of Agria, Mohan, who's a partner at NVP, that's Novice Venture Partners, and Kiran from TiE, who's our advisor from as part of the Nurture program. So that's all I have today. And oh, cool. Yeah, so basically, if you look at the revenue side of things, large networks spend about 80 lakhs to a crore with companies like TAM. We are looking at pricing our product at a 25 lakh to 50 lakh annual revenue based on the sort of features that we're providing. That's at the big, large enterprise level. So, a bouquet for a company like Star or other large networks that have a huge number of channels. We're also looking at a lower tier, which is really single channel, limited amount of analytics at around 5 lakh run rate. So we're projecting revenues of about 2.5 crores at the end of 2013. Yeah, I didn't put in the slides, but that's what we're looking at.
Can you also track the advertisements given by various suppliers? That how many people actually viewed the advertisement completely, or just switch over the channel to next?
Yes, the question is if we can track advertisements. So we don't actually track the advertisements in terms of, so we are different from TRP in the sense that TRP is a box, and based on what data is collected at the TV channel, at the viewer's house and in certain locations, the data is collected of that. We collect data that then people voluntarily say, I watched this program and I didn't like this thing about the program, or I like this cast, this person in the cast, or these guys shouldn't have married on screen or something like that. Right? That sort of is what we collect. In terms of the ads itself, we are seeing a lot of data where people are commenting about ads. So we are going to use that with the brands, and this Nike ad or this Audi ad was very good, or very bad, or they didn't like something about it. That data we are collecting. So our focus on ads is really in that space.
So I have a question. How flexible is your analytical engine to?
Very.
Yeah, so
in what sense?
In the sense that now it's completely tuned to media, right? And how much will it take for you to kind of get the same offering for politics, for governance and things like that?
Yeah, so our technology is pretty generic in that sense. The reason we are going behind the entertainment market is twofold. One is that we see a lot of value, and we are really going after the ad spend in that. There's a lot of money being spent on it. Like politics, for example, we are working with channels to pull that so that they can then generate content out of it. So really our focus in terms of the technology is flexible, but our focus right now is purely media. So we're looking at focusing on television channels in terms of A, what is happening with social media, and B, what sort of trends are there that you can then leverage off. And with advertisers on here, you're advertising on this, your brand is being perceived in this fashion. That's what we are looking at. In terms of the technology, at the end of the day, social media analytics is pretty crowded space worldwide, and most of the solutions out there are generic from a technology perspective. In India, it's not that crowded. There are very few players, and we believe that this is a market that really is both leading in terms of the use of social media and growing there, and also in terms of needing to actually make sense out of it. Because TRP is really bad. I mean, 2 months back, Nielsen was sued by NDTV over TRP. I think last week, one of the other channels, Bloomberg or someone sued them. There's no TRP data available for the last 2 weeks because of the digitization that's happening. And on top of it, it's a very small sample size. If you look at a country like India, where we have, even if people don't have a gas connection, they watch cable TV, right? So that's the sort of country we're in. Now, in that you look at that sample space, and you look at what sample space there, maybe TRP must be covering about, at this point, maybe I don't know the exact number of households, but it's really a small sample size. And that's one of the big complaints that's been there for a while. Our sample size is way bigger than that, in terms of data points that we collect every second and every minute.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Finally, I think if you get into politics, analyzing politics, I think you have to call it, instead of crucible lamps, crucifix lamps. Okay. The next company is close to my stomach, not my heart. The company is called Foxglove Enterprises. They have launched a series of quick service restaurants called Rush Hours. And here talking about the company is a co-founder, Ankur Joshi.
Good evening everyone. I'm Ankur Joshi from Rush Hours. I'll just Rashas was the brainchild of 6 IIT Bombay grads who dreamt of the idea of opening up a restaurant in their hostel during 2003 and 2006.